Welcome to Networking Unleashed Building Profitable Connections, the show where real conversations turn into real results. I'm Michael Forman, and today we're stepping into a fast moving space where AI meets digital marketing, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship meets creativity, and relationships still sit at the center of it all. My guest today lives in that world every day, helping business owners grow with smart tech while keeping their conversations human. We're talking about how connections are built in a digital age, how entrepreneurs stay visible without losing their voice, and why trust still beats the tool in every box. And yes, we're even bringing in a special co-star, her dog, Echo Whiskey, because sometimes the best lessons and connections come on four legs. If you care about growth, real relationships, and staying ahead without losing what makes you, you're in the right place. I'd like to welcome to the podcast Amber. I am so glad that you made it here for the podcast, and I would like you just to introduce yourself and give us a little background of how you got where you are today.
Hello, Michael. I'm so privileged to be your guest today. I really love the work that you're doing, and I so appreciate the plug for my precious Roddy. He's the best doggy in the whole wide world.
Of course.
So, I'm a third generation entrepreneur, and I'm a plumber's daughter. And so, I grew up in the blue collar world and in the blue collar trades, so much so that in the days of Nextel two-way radios and Mapscos, we were dispatching trucks before it was cool. I'll say that. And that is what instilled the work ethic for me to go out on my own. That is what taught me that marketing cannot be ethereal, it must be practical. And that is what inspired me to pursue the very best solutions in technology and AI for the benefit of our agency clients today.
That's great. And I'm really looking forward to this podcast because everybody uses AI to a certain extent. I use AI as a tool, just one of my many tools that I have to go out and network and communicate. So I'm really looking forward to everything that we're going to talk about. You work at the crossroads of AI marketing and business ownership. How has technology changed the way real relationships are built today?
Technology is at the heart of almost every conversation that you have at business networking events. Technology rules our lives, as we found out from the recent Verizon outage, where all of our cell phones on the Verizon platform did not work for 24 hours. Technology is the driving force and differentiator between businesses today. And so I personally believe that technology being that great differentiator is also the great unifier because when you work with people who are forward thinking, passionate about business growth, and risk takers, then they are usually early adopters of technology as well. But the speed of light that technology is advancing is absolutely new to those of us that grew up prior to the internet and cell phones. Am I allowed to say that and share my age? Facts
Yeah,
are facts. So,
go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So I just think we have to embrace or get left behind.
Yeah, I use the pandemic as a line in the sand. Before the pandemic, networking was really transactional. I have a widget, you have $3. You give me $3, I'll give you the widget, and case closed, customer moves on. But ever since the pandemic, the relationship has become more important. And I think AI has contributed to making it easier to keep those relationships going. So I firmly believe in what you're talking about. Many
I
people
also,
use, oh, go ahead. Oh,
oh,
sorry.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
going to say, I also believe that COVID and the pandemic taught us that technology can empower and strengthen relationships in a way that we really took for granted previously.
Absolutely. I'm here talking to you. You're in Texas, I'm in Georgia, and I'm talking to you like you're sitting right next to me.
Mhm.
So that is just one platform with the AI that we can turn to. And what we're trying to do, I'm trying to take everybody out of their houses, out of their homes, put them face to face with people, get them back to nurturing those relationships that it really counts, really means. But I digress. I don't want to go there. Okay. Many people use digital tools to reach more people. Few use them to connect better. What separates the two?
I believe what separates the two is the way that you use digital tools. You can reach more people and still not make connection. You can reach more people and still not make a sale, and especially in the business world. So the use of the digital tools in line with the offerings and services of a company is what becomes of paramount importance when you're talking about digital tools and marketing for return on your investment. It's not enough just to treat ChatGPT like Google. That's kids' play. My 9-year-old can do that. What you have to understand is that with digital tools, AI can be utilized to develop your audience and prepare them for a sale before they're even aware of your brand.
Yes. Yes. Very true. Very true. Okay. When entrepreneurs rely too much on automation, what usually gets lost and how can they bring it back?
I think that's a great question because when entrepreneurs rely too much on digital tools and they lose sight of their personal brand and authenticity, then they become stagnant. I'm going to say they become just another brand, just another part of the buzz, just another part of the noise. And it's important to understand that the one thing that technology will never replace is the critical thinking capability of people and the fact that people do people with those that they know and trust. And so, as an entrepreneur, you have to maintain this fine balance of utilizing technology to empower your sales and your marketing while still maintaining the personal branding that keeps you local, powerful, and approachable.
Absolutely. And the word authenticity gets thrown around a little bit too much, right? Everybody wants to become that authentic self. But the true thing, I believe, that separates us from AI, that's emotion. And emotion is the main cog that holds you together and makes you that authentic self. AI can tell you what you are, what you do, and actually reproduce you and your voice and everything else. It can't yet anyway bring in that emotion, and that emotion drives a lot of sales, right?
And the positioning and the nuances behind branding is what will convey emotions and evoke emotions and opinions in potential clients or existing clients. So, knowing how to pick your colors, establish your brand voice, put them into play of your tech based platforms in a way that is consistent, clear, and evocative is again what creates a better opportunity for success.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at the commercials that are being produced now, it's those commercials that create those emotional draw. My wife can't watch a dog food commercial without crying. She just you too. So it's that kind of emotion that AI can't bring in. Not yet, anyway, but they can't bring in. So that's really a big difference. You've built connections in fast moving spaces. What habits help relationships last when everything else keeps changing?
I think we touched on this a little bit with the emotions. I think people are not going to care about you until they know that you care about them. Everyone wears a silent sign around their neck that says "Make me feel special." So I think the habits that we develop are intentionality, frequency of communication, heartfelt touches and messages. I still handwrite notes every single week in my business to clients and to connections and the stack of business cards that I keep on my desk of people. When I go to events, I'm going to write them a handwritten card. I'm not going to send them a LinkedIn introduction. Usually I'll do both. So I think the habits of maintaining those opportunities to outserve one another are what really help to establish and maintain those meaningful connections. I'm going to give away advice all day long. I'm always going to try and bring value to a conversation. I'm going to lift people up. It's those kinds of opportunities to give back into your networking community that position your reputation as a giver and not just a one sided transaction.
You hit on so many things that are so correct that I can't begin to tell you how much I am right behind you, right? Between giving the thank you notes, between the giving. When you go to a networking event, you're going with a servant's heart. You're
Mhm.
going to give and not receive. Bob Berg, who's a famous author and speaker and everything else, he does that. He's been for 25 years. He's been talking, going on stages, saying that you have to give first
Mhm.
before you receive. Be a connector.
Mhm.
And he's made the whole career of this. And it was really nice. I had him on a podcast a few weeks ago, and he was just sensational. But it's true. And everything you're doing, I teach, I coach, I
Mhm.
mentor, and I teach everything that you just said. So I'm just so happy with your answer.
We knew we had alignment prior to the podcast, but birds of a
Yes,
feather flock together.
absolutely. Absolutely. What's one moment where a genuine connection mattered more than any campaign, system, or strategy?
Oh, goodness. It's hard to pick just one because I think genuine connection is what keeps us all in business if you look at it. I'm going to give an example of my friend who is now in political office. When I was a very young mother, I took my son to a chiropractor's office because he was born without the ability to turn his neck to one side. And because of that, we had some health concerns for my son. And the precious woman behind the counter, who was the receptionist, was beyond compassionate and helpful. Anytime that he spit up, anytime I was running late, anytime we needed to book an appointment, she knew my name, my son's name, my insurance information, and the intentionality of her service was unparalleled. Fast forward, my son is now 9 years old. And yesterday, I got a phone call from this same person who said, Amber, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I am running for reelection. And I have found myself in need of a messaging strategist. And when I looked up on ChatGPT, the top strategic experts in our city, your name came up. And I know you probably don't remember me, but would you be willing to take on my account? And the fact that we had formed a connection 9 years prior brought me business yesterday with someone who I hope to serve throughout her political career. So you never know when it's going to come back around, whether or not it's a big ticket item or not. My name awareness and her reputation is what brought the business opportunity together.
Absolutely. And I can't put enough behind what you just said. I can't drive it home enough because the little things you do, when I tell all of my students, my clients, everybody, I say, you know what? Give a little bit more, give a little patience, give a little information, give whatever you can. If they want from what you're trying to sell, they're going to buy. Okay. Or if they
Mhm.
want more information, but it doesn't take very much for you to give that information to them, right? If one of my clients was interested in a company, I say contact them on LinkedIn, contact the person that you want to contact and ask him, say, look, can I call you for 15 minutes? I want to pick your brain.
Mhm.
They'll be
Mhm.
more than happy to give you everything plus. So it's an amazing thing. And if more people thought the way you and I feel, I think the world would be a much better place.
Oh, we'd certainly have fewer confrontations, wouldn't we? If we could just stop and take some of the hyper emotionalism out of it and realize we're just humans trying to find common ground.
Just trying to get along. Just
Yep.
that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah. While
Um,
using technology, right? To do it better and faster.
well, while using technology, yes, yes. Should business owners use AI to support conversations without turning them into copy and paste interactions?
This is the temptation when you utilize certain plugins and automations is that it feels robotic. So I believe, and we coach our clients to use technology for automation, for streamlining, but to program the technology to be personalized. So it doesn't take that much more time for you to personalize your responses by putting someone's first name in there. Michael, thanks for reaching out. How can we be of service to you? Instead of you've reached far beyond marketing, what's your marketing problem? So you personalize it, you customize your responses, you offer things earlier in the conversation that will solve the most common problems that your audience faces. You are warming up an audience with educating them about how you make their life better, but you duplicate your efforts through automations and platforms that will take you further faster. So again, I run a very lean, mean marketing machine with my team, and we serve a lot more clients than we would be able to if we didn't have plugins, automations, and things like that that tech powers.
It's so true. And companies now are doing more with less, and they're actually more efficient with the less than having more people. So that's creating an atmosphere where people like you and I, whether we have a two, three, four, even five-person company, we make the assumption or have the people look at us and say, oh, wait, you're head of a bigger company. You're 10 people, 15 people. And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure, sure. Meanwhile, it's me and three other people. But that's how it all works. But it's to make you better. It's not to replace anything that you're saying or doing, but just to make it better. And you're right, the personalization of it, just that little bit, that little touch of Amber, this is Michael, and yada, 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 just to make it personal.
A great example of this, Michael, is I recently met the incomparable, brilliant, beautiful Vera Stewart. And Vera is based in Augusta, Georgia, and she is the premier caterer for the Masters tournament. And Vera has had her creations in Goldman Sachs and in Neiman's, and she had three SKUs in Costco. She started out in Augusta, Georgia as a home economics teacher, and she has built a 44-year career on culinary arts, hospitality, and excellence. And I will tell you that her business empire is so impressive. But in the course of the conversation with Vera while she was signing my cookbooks, she continued to impress upon me and the audience at the importance of customer service, personality profiling your employees, never compromising on quality, no matter what it is that you're doing.
Have you ever read the book, The Raving Fan?
Oh, one of my favorites.
Okay, because I used to be in the mortgage industry, and I must have bought 25 of those books, and I used to hand them to all my realtors whenever they're having a problem or as a small gift. And it's out of print already, but I still have five left. And it's a quick read, and it just teaches you the basics of customer service.
100%. Raving
And
fans,
it's
the 1 minute manager,
one minute
all of
manager.
these.
Yep, absolutely. I have them all on my shelf. I have them all on my
Me too.
shelf.
Me too. Yep.
Okay. Okay. In digital marketing, attention is easy to get and hard to keep. What makes someone worth staying connected? What makes someone worth staying connected to after the first interaction?
You should always stay connected, but it's
Always.
a mutual decision. So if that person elects out of your communication, you're not going to force them to communicate with you. But I believe that when you continuously reach out and you continuously provide value, people intrinsically want to stay connected. So when you're looking at things like digital marketing, whether you're running ads on Facebook or YouTube, or you're establishing an email campaign, or you are talking on a chat bot, the primary reason to stay connected is brand awareness and opportunity. so that you are in a prime position to be remembered when that person is ready to buy. And that equates to frequency over reach. So, over communicating, both in person and in digital marketing, is hugely important.
What would you say to somebody who has a huge LinkedIn following? Okay. I have 10,000 people that I'm connected to. How big would you say I should keep my circle, my sphere of influence, so that I can keep up on that in those interactions?
Especially in light of today's conversation, I would say there's no reason to shrink your circle. Just employ some technology to help you stay in front of all of them. I don't think you have to decrease. I don't think that just because you're reaching the masses, you have to decrease the quality of your communication. That's the basis of technology and AI. So I tell my clients all the time, the wider the net you cast, the more opportunities you bring in. But the more narrowed you are in your approach, the faster you are to bring someone around to doing business with you because you have highly vetted them. So, is it a numbers game or is it a quality game? Frequency over reach, quality over quantity. These are the consistent conversations that keep marketing companies in business because every client has a different desire. Our job is to create the right mix to generate the success definition that the client has.
Yes, I could agree. 1,000% I agree. Okay, entrepreneurship, entrepreneurship can feel lonely. How has networking shaped your growth when things felt uncertain?
Oh, when do things feel uncertain as an entrepreneur, Michael?
Absolutely.
We're the last to get paid and the first to hear about the problems. God bless all entrepreneurs everywhere. I think networking is what brings entrepreneurs solitude and friendships. And I think that there is networking again for the sake of business transaction, and then there was networking for the sake of connection. I am incredibly picky about where I spend my time networking. I am not a serial networker. I can't be. I'm a mother and I'm a business owner and I'm a writing owner. So I have to be home petting my dogs and out until midnight. I guess
Right.
it's kind of boring in that way. But I think that networking with like minded professionals, whether it's an industry group or a shared clientele group, allows entrepreneurs to realize that they are not alone. I was at a wine bar yesterday. I'll give you an example with a fellow female business owner who has also been in business for over 10 years. And we were just sitting at the table before our Chamber of Commerce event. And she said, I am so tired of reinventing myself. For 10 years, I've been reinventing my business and reinventing myself. And my comment to her was, when you stop reinventing yourself, you might as well close your doors because you are always going to be reinventing an offer, a strategy, a product, or a service. And that is what entrepreneurship is about. It's about lifting each other up, sharing common concerns, finding solutions together, and serving one another. So I believe that entrepreneurship requires a huge community somehow of people that are going to lift that entrepreneur up and keep them encouraged. Because it's a beat down. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart.
Absolutely. I run a networking group, a weekly networking group from 5:30 to 7 o'clock at night. And between 17 and 20 businesses come together and we talk about, we do networking and everything else. But about the last 15 minutes or so, I say, okay, what frustrates you the most? And
Mhm.
then what excites you the most. Every week is different, of course. It's getting through certain problems. There are 17 business minds in that room. So if you have a problem, who better to answer those problems than other business owners like yourself? And
Mhm.
that's what keeps me going. We have a
Mhm.
great time.
Mhm.
We have a great time.
Mhm. Phenomenal. Phenomenal.
Let's talk Echo Whiskey for a moment. What has your dog taught you about patience, presence, or connection that shows up in business too?
Well, my dog is perfect. He has no faults. So when you
What?
want to look at the model of patience, connection, and purpose, you just look at his little chocolate cover eyes and you go, yes, you are absolutely right about that. Let me give you a duck foot. Absolutely. I think they say dogs are a man's best friend. I think that when you look at companionship from a dependence perspective, who would lay down their life for you if you ever needed them to. And that's why I'm a Rottweiler owner, because I believe in a strong working dog. I'm sorry. I know I'm 5 foot tall, but I don't have time for a little dog. I'm sorry. Give me a real dog. I shoot big
Right.
guns. I got a big dog. I drink big whiskey. Anyway, but I think when you look at the perspective of power versus dependence and servanthood, there is a beautiful continuity in the two. Be powerful, but give love. Be consistent, but have boundaries. Understand that you can provide peace and protection, but also offer a sense of companionship and truth. And I think that's what we get when we have relationships with others. And also when we recognize, even as pet owners, that these are powerful creatures that still rely on us for their well being. And it's really an amazing connection that we have to steward our relationships.
Yeah. I'm a dog owner myself. The longest time I went without, I think, was a year and a half. That was after one dog passed away. It
Mhm.
took me about a year to a year and a half to adjust to her being missed. It was like a piece of me was torn out. So we finally got a puppy, and now she's about 5 months old. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, if she was around, I would show her to you. She's probably upstairs with my wife. But it's an incredible thing that the love and affection you can get, but the protection you can get.
mhm.
And you in business, you find like minds, right? And you don't want yes men. You want people that are actually going to give you constructive criticism, but they'll lay down their life for you.
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
that's what a true friend, a good true cohort is. And
Yep.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. But I had to do that question for Echo Whiskey. How,
I'll let him
how
know.
did
I'll let
how
him
did
know.
you come up with the name Echo Whiskey?
Okay, so here's a funny story for you. So I come from a military family and I see your veteran logo and thank you for your service because our military families are the backbone of America. And so my nephews are Marines and my grandfather was in the Navy. And so military is just part of who we are. And I unfortunately did not serve. I was the creative type who decided she was going to be an opera singer and tour the world. And I did that for a time, but found out quickly it doesn't pay the bills. So my artistic operatic side came out when I had to pick a name for my buddy. And I was going to name him Avik von Century, which meant my eternal guardian, because Avik is the word of eternal in German. But it
Okay.
is spelled Ewig.
Okay.
Okay. And so military call letters, Echo, Whiskey, India. Golf. So instead of Avik, he is Echo Whiskey.
And as soon as I saw it, I knew it was associated with the military. Just because of phonetically spelling the alphabet. So I knew automatically. So
Yeah.
I had to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring this podcast full circle. If you could change one belief people have about networking in a tech-driven world, what would it be and why does it matter now?
Connection, I think we've established in our time together today that connection matters more than ever. Genuine connection is hard to find, and technology is what empowers us to have both. I think what we have to change is the opinion that tech is going to replace connection. It never will. Tech is going to empower, tech is going to allow us to have more connections, just like it's allowing us to connect today. But it will never replace, like you said earlier, emotion. It will never replace connection that is human. And it's never going to change the way that people choose to make their buying decisions. Because even digitally, I would argue that you have to feel a connection with a brand, even if it is purely for your own self betterment. If you are not feeling connected to the product or purpose, you're not going to spend your money on it. So don't assume that tech replaces connection. Tech underscores connection and allows you to do it more efficiently and on a broader scale.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amber, we probably could talk for another 2 hours about this or a multitude of things, but time constraints. If somebody wanted to get hold of you, either just to talk to you, be consulted by you, or ask you about your companies, where should they go?
You're welcome to find me on LinkedIn, Amber Gaige, Gaige. You're welcome to go to our website and take advantage of our free quiz to assess what marketing you currently have. That's www.farbeyondmarketing.com. You're welcome to follow us across all the social channels. We'd be very happy to connect.
That's wonderful. That's what happens when technology, creativity, and real connection come together. You don't grow a business through clicks alone. You don't build trust through tools alone. You don't build it, though, how you show up online. You build it through how you show up online and in person. Take one idea from today's episode and try it in your next conversation. Watch how people respond when you bring more presence, more curiosity, and a little more heart into the room. If this episode made you think, smile, or see networking in a new way, share it with someone who's building something of their own. And be sure to follow Networking Unleashed, Building Profitable Connections, so you never miss a conversation that helps you grow the right way. I'm Michael Forman, and remember, your next connection right your next connection might come from the last place you expect, sometimes even from a dog named Echo Whiskey. Amber, this was just a wonderful time. I thank you so much for coming on my podcast.
It was my humble privilege, Michael. Take care.
Well, hold on, folks. Don't go anywhere. Let's hear from our sponsors. David Neal, co founder, Revved Up Kids. Revved Up Kids is on a mission to protect children and teens from sexual abuse, exploitation, and trafficking. They provide prevention training programs for children, teens, and adults. To learn more, go to revvedupkids.org. Henry Kaplan, Century 21. When it comes to making the biggest financial decision of your life, leave it in the hands of a proven professional, Henry Kaplan. Henry is a global real estate agent with Century 21, celebrating his 41st year in business. No matter where you're moving, Henry has the right connections for you. You can contact Henry at 561 427 4888. A huge thank you to our guest for sharing such incredible insights today. And of course, a big shout out to you, our amazing listeners, for tuning in and spending your time with us. If you're interested in my digital courses, being coached, or having me come and talk to your company, just go to Michael and fill out the request form. Remember, networking isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. So take what you've learned today, get out there, and make some meaningful connections. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little networking inspiration. Let's keep the conversation going. You can find me on Apple, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, or my website, forman.com/podcasts.